Why are we here? Well, there's been a lot happening in the world. Um, Promises to wipe nations from civilization. Greta Thunberg just last week being labeled as the second most dangerous influencer in the world, and her call to action. And my feeling of, well, things changing so much, feeling like I'm being spoken for when people, especially my fellow Canadians, forgive me, Canada, but, and I hope you feel the same way. Canada doesn't hate Americans. We are not our politics, and we know what happens when we do collective blame. I'm going to talk a little bit more about this later, but I do not blame the innocent people in the US who did not vote for this, who are children, or our, great grandparents who, for whatever reason, did not want this. And, well, you're all welcome here. I'm still a friendly Canadian neighbor. And while I support Canada Strong and I am following the suggestions from my government to build a stronger Canada, especially with the tariffs and the trade and all of that, I am still someone who looks for the humanity and looks at humans first. So, as my title says, no passport needed. Yeah, we are more than our passports. And so, in this space, as long as we're respectful, and I'm looking for the insight of everyone. I'm just learning about, I know the conflict in the East. I think we all know about it, but the details of it, what it really means, what's happening in Gaza, those truths are things that I'm really just diving into now. And I feel like I'm probably not the only one who's struggling with the state of everything. And so the gathering place began. So if you're ready to dig into this with me, I'll mention Greta first. I'm sure everyone knows who Greta is. She became, well, quite world famous at the age of 14, I think it was, when she did her first protest for her own government to stop climate change. And she's 24 now. She's expanded from the global warming issues and issues with the environment to activism. She's now really involved in human rights activism, especially in what's happening in Gaza right now with the Palestinians. And, well, my shorts that may have attracted you to this video or the live in the first place were taken from a recent call to action short that Greta herself recorded. So I've put the link in right after the instructions for the description, pardon me. You'll see the link for the full video. And I'm going to pause here. If you'll take a moment to watch that, you'll have a better understanding of where we're going next in this conversation. So it's only 60 seconds, and it's the YouTube link that I used myself to remix for my shorts. Recently, as of March 30th, the Israeli government has passed a law that calls for the death penalty to anyone demonstrates terrorism or terrorist tendencies. That's not the exact wording, but it is about a terrorist threat. And the way that works is it would only apply to Palestinians in the military courts, and that is not where Israelis would go to court for the same thing. So it's not balanced. And, well, it's apartheid. It's exactly as Greta has called out in the video you just watched, by identifying a person or judging them, coming up with a verdict based on their race is, well, it's a war crime. And Greta called that out. Unfortunately, she said what's happening to the Palestinians. Genocide, siege, mass starvation are the words that she said. And it's because of those three words And in her reference was, is being done, those things, to the Palestinian people from Israel. Netanyahu's government on March 30th labeled her this most dangerous influencer. If I've said anything incorrectly, if I've implied anything incorrectly, please let me know. In that video, Greta says that she's calling us to action to act, sanctions, divestments, boycotts. So what I've done to start out to get us going, inside the description, written 2 letters that you can copy and paste. One is for any global affairs minister in your region. So they're generic. Anyone can go and copy and paste these. The second one is more specific to Canada, but anyone can also send this letter in. You'll get a gist of what it's about. I don't want to spend too much time talking about it here, but it is about Alberta trying to separate from Canada, although, the land isn't ours and it's not Alberta's. It's the Indigenous people who were here 6,000 years before we showed up. And the discrimination that they've faced is no different than, well, the discrimination happening in Gaza as far as displaced people. So with that, that's a good call to action for now. We need to stand together. We can stand together and use our voices, as Greta has called, helping in the East. We can stand together to speak up for the Indigenous in Alberta, in the west of Canada. And I will make sure that, well, we're all talking about standing up for my southern neighbors and the people of the United States. I want to give you a quote by Jane Goodall. Jane says, every individual matters. Every individual has a role to play. Every individual makes a difference. And we all do make a difference. You might think, what can I do from here to help in the Middle East? Well, you can copy and paste one of those letters, fill in your name, and send it in an email to a representative in your country. You can make a phone call. I've also included some links for Amnesty International. I'm not sure what else is there. If you have any recommendations, also put those in the comments, please. I want to finish by saying thank you. Thank you for coming and stopping by. If you like what you're hearing here, please help me make the community grow. Check out the channel, subscribe, like, and please check out the polls and any of my other videos. And thank you very much, global citizens. Appreciate you. And we'll see you in the next video.